Hi, welcome back to my channel. After filming the Creative Haven collection video, I was inspired to color some of the pages. I really wanted to do it, but before that, I want to know more about the paper, so that I can choose the color pencil that works the best with this paper. Before we continue, if you haven't watched that video, I have the link in the description if you want to watch it. I appreciate all the feedback and comment from you all, and I'll definitely make more episodes of these collection videos. In this video, I'm going to color the tulips with different sets of color pencils I have. Initially, I do want to color all the tulips, and I do have many sets of color pencils for that. But after I color some of the flowers, I realized that if I color the whole page, this video would be too long. And since I'm editing this video on my old tablet, I think my tablet can only handle around 30 minutes max. Otherwise, it will slow down and start to freeze. The other reason I wanted to do this testing video was because I do purchase many set of color pencils, and many of them sitting on the shelf or in the boxes. So by doing this video, I get a chance to pull them out and test them on paper and to really use them and get familiar with them a little bit. I forgot to mention that this is a page from Fantastic Floral Wreaths by Jessica. I don't usually like to color repetitive elements, but for this color pencil test, I think a page like this is perfect. The paper in Creative Haven's coloring books is unique on its own. I think it feels smooth but still have slight texture. The paper is not as thick as Johanna Best's first book, but definitely better than Amazon's paper. I would say it is also better than R.J. Hampson's hardcover book. Before I color the flowers with color pencils, I decided to start by coloring the leaves with Ohuhu alcohol markers, because I do want to know how the color pencil feel with or without alcohol marker layer. I'm still not good with alcohol marker, but I do like to use them to base the page, because it definitely speed up the coloring process. At first, I thought it would be easy to color all the leaves first with alcohol marker, but it was actually more challenging than I thought. So many leaves overlapping together, it's hard to figure out what was background or what was the leaves. Using Ohuhu alcohol marker on this paper, the texture feels dry. I'm guessing the paper is absorbing the ink. I think this paper works quite well with alcohol marker. Even though this graphic has thinner lines, you can see that the alcohol marker doesn't bleed through the lines. The experience was very different than when I used alcohol marker on those cute and cozy coloring books. With those cute and cozy coloring book, if the alcohol marker stay on the paper a little bit too long, it starts to spread and bleed through the lines and causing me to panic. So I definitely enjoy using alcohol marker in Creative Haven's books. After I finished basing the leaf with alcohol marker, the first color pencil set I used was the Arrtx color pencil. This was the original 126 set. I heard they are releasing this set with new packaging and maybe thicker pencil cores. I'm interested. So I will definitely buy that when it's available on Amazon. I'm glad to hear they are changing the packaging, because the original box broke in 2 weeks after I started using it. I do like their pencils, since without a box, they are out all the time and I have been using them to sketch and draw. You can see some of my drawing on my Instagram account. On this paper, the Arrtx color pencil definitely give you the oil-based color pencil feel. The pencil felt dry on paper, but I was able to layer to get the colors I wanted. Overall, I think this pencil does have good color saturation on Creative Haven's paper. The color saturation is not the best in this test, but is definitely above standard. The coloring experience with this set of pencil was okay, but not the best. I would say not my first choice on this paper. I did have to burnish it to smooth out the texture. When I colored the leaves, I didn't have issue layer the pencil on top of the alcohol marker layer. To be honest, it didn't feel any difference. Even with different sets of color pencils, I tried to choose similar colors and color them the similar ways. I did have to adjust a little bit because the pencils behave differently on this paper. But overall, the way I color in this video, they are similar, so you can see a lot of repetition. This is one of the reasons I didn't want to color the whole page, because once I started, I realized this could be a boring video with me coloring the same flowers over and over and over again. So I'm sorry if you think this video is boring. I did try, and I will also try to be informative and share as much as possible if I could. The reason I choose to color the tulips with this reddish pink color is because this color is pretty common across different sets of color pencils. Even if I couldn't find this color in a smaller set, I would be able to mix some colors to get to this color. For example, I wouldn't choose a true red color for this test because many budget set of color pencil didn't have that true red color. I'm not sure why, but it seems to be pretty common with budget color pencils. Maybe the red pigment is somewhat expensive. So whenever I buy a new set of color pencils, the first thing I check is to see if it has a true red color. Now for the second set of color pencils I used was the Woomer 72 set. I'll be upfront with you here. I didn't quite like how this flower turned out because I rotate the page when I color it, and because to accommodate the different direction of lighting, I couldn't adjust to the direction of the lighting I wanted to use, and the contrast of this flower is just not quite there. Not because the quality of this color pencil. Using Woomer color pencil on this paper, the texture feels smooth. You can still feel a slight texture, but it's smooth on paper. And instantly, I could tell the colors are more vibrant and saturated on this paper compared to the previous color pencil I used. Since the pencil feels softer on paper, it's easier to get the smooth texture and easier to blend and layer. It's also effortless if I wanted to overlap the colors. Kind of feels similar like how you use Prismacolor. I think I'll be quite happy using Woomer's color pencils on Creative Haven's paper. I definitely love the vibrancy. Woomer's color pencil on Creative Haven's book, it definitely gives you that saturation if you love something vibrant. To color the tulip, I first choose a dark brown as a shadow and then continue to add darker maroon purplish color before I continue to use lighter color, more saturated color like the pink and the reddish pink. It's not that complicated, but I think the most important thing is to figure out the direction of the light. So before you start, you have to decide where you want to put the highlight and where you want to add the shadow. By having highlight and shadow, it will make the flowers more three-dimensional. I definitely didn't do a very good job with this one. When I colored this flower, I rotated the page, and the light source was supposed to be from the bottom of the flowers, and my brain just didn't adjust to that. So after coloring this flower, I stopped rotating my page, and I definitely feel better afterwards. With the leaves, I use black as a shadow color. I know it's controversial to discuss if you should use black, but by mixing with other colors, I think it looks fine. But of course, it's personal choice. If you don't want to use black, you can use darker tone like deep blue or darker brown to darken the leaf color. But I chose to use black because I wanted to create more contrast to make the flowers pop a little bit more. I don't want to discuss too many different random topics, so I will let you finish this section, and then with next color pencil, I will share my thoughts and conclusion on them as well. Next, I'm going to color the flower with my Faber-Castell Polychromos 60 set. The pencils felt smooth and soft on paper. It's not as hard as I thought it would be, since this is an oil-based color pencil. However, the colors were not as vibrant on this paper. I needed to layer to build out the colors. But even after many layers, the color just not as saturated compared to other set of color pencils. Even though the pencil felt smooth on paper, it was still a harder pencil, so it would be very time consuming if I color the whole page with Polychromos. The Polychromos color pencils is known as a professional grade color pencils, but somehow I just didn't feel the benefit using this set of color pencils in Creative Haven's book. If this was the first time I used the Polychromos color pencils, I would think this is overrated and overpriced. But I definitely had better experience on other paper and with other coloring books. So I would say this might be the bad combination. A lot of times when you don't have a good experience with certain coloring books, it's best you switch color pencils because sometimes things just don't match. Based on this experience, I started to have this feeling. Maybe with Creative Haven's paper, oil-based color pencil, they don't work well on this paper. So in conclusion, I would not recommend using Polychromos color pencil on Creative Haven's paper, especially consider the price point is much higher. The next color pencil set I used was the Faber-Castell Black Edition 100 set. Even though this set of color pencil come with 100 colors, I actually struggled to find colors I wanted to use. A lot of colors look kind of like pastel tone, just couldn't find the saturated color that I was looking for. I imagine they designed this set of color pencils to be used on darker paper or black color paper, so they somehow have to add more white into the colors or create some lighter color tones. It was an odd feeling looking at 100 color pencil and couldn't find the colors I wanted. On paper, the pencil felt firm and soft, and it was easy to layer and blend, more pleasant than expected. I couldn't quite find the reddish pink that was saturated enough for me, so I did have to use a bright red color to enhance the saturation. On paper, it felt kind of odd in some way because it felt like wax base and oil base at the same time. It's hard to explain, but it was the right firmness for the paper. I think overall, it was easy to use, and I would definitely use this black edition on Creative Haven's book again if I can find the right colors. To be honest, using the black edition on this paper, the pencils felt better than the Polychromos, even though this set of pencils is cheaper. This is interesting because it just shows that more expensive color pencils don't always work better on certain coloring book. It depends on the paper. So, to enhance your experience, you definitely want to test it out to see which pencils you like the most. The next set of color pencils I used was the Arrtx Gold 120 set. Contrasting to the black edition I previously used, with Arrtx, I have plenty of options in terms of the colors I want. So I guess you can say to color flowers, Arrtx could be a good choice with the color options. The Arrtx Gold color pencils felt smooth and firm on paper, and it kind of produced a lot of crumbs. I did notice that when I use the pencils on other paper, maybe because of the texture. Somehow I was able to color faster with this set of color pencils. I couldn't do too many layers, so it would be helpful if you plan ahead how many colors you want to use. I would say the color vibrancy was pretty standard. Not bad, but not as vibrant as the Woomer color pencils. Other than I have to watch out for the crumbs, I like the experience with this set of color pencil on Creative Haven's paper. Next, I have the Crayola 100 set. I chose to use the pencils to color smaller flowers, the one that on the side, because I kind of had a feeling Crayola doesn't have the best vibrancy and saturation. So I guess we will see. On paper, the pencil felt firm, feel like oil-based pencils. Surprisingly, it was smooth and very pleasant to use. But the colors are not the most vibrant. It's a little bit more muted. Even though I say the pencil felt oil-based, but it does have quite a bit of wax build-up. So you can't do too many layers. It's better to plan ahead if you want to use Crayola color pencils. I think with Crayola color pencils, you can have a great time on Creative Haven's paper. Just don't expect vibrancy. If more muted color is your style, I think this could be a good match. Next, I have Faber-Castell Go Faber 48 set. I didn't realize that I have used 3 sets of color pencils from Faber-Castell. I guess this can also be a good test for 3 different sets from them. On paper, the pencil somehow felt similar to Crayola. It was smooth, easy to control, and easy to layer, but it did have slight chalky feel. Overall, the experience was great, but the colors were not the most vibrant. It was odd because the whole thing felt oddly similar to Crayola color pencils. I don't mind using this set of color pencils in Creative Haven's book again, as long as I'm not looking for vibrancy. And you probably noticed even my conclusion, it does sound quite similar to Crayola. The last set of color pencils I used in this video was the Amazon Basic 48 set. At first, it felt like Arrtx color pencil on paper, but then the wax build-up was pretty fast. I couldn't do too many layers on this Creative Haven's paper. For the price, I would say the color vibrancy is decent, maybe better than some of the expensive pencils. In conclusion, I would say you can get good result with this set of color pencils. The experience on Creative Haven's paper is similar to Arrtx color pencils. Not the best, but not bad for the price. So here's the final result of this test. The differences are very minor. I like the experience with Woomer and Art Gold color pencils. I would say no on Polychromos color pencil. The conclusion of this test is wax-based color pencil definitely works better on Creative Haven's paper. And thanks for watching. Bye.